So for a functionalist, a mental state like seeing red isn't about that private, subjective feeling of redness. Nope. Instead, it's all about the job that mental state performs, what causes it, and what does it in turn cause you to do or think. It's a huge shift from asking what is it to asking what does it do. And this right here is the absolute key. If you and I both look at that same tomato and we both say, that's red, and we both reach for it to make a salad, then a functionalist would say we are in the exact same mental state, period. That private inner feeling, what philosophers call qualia, it's completely irrelevant to the definition. But is it really?
So let's look at person A. They see a tomato, and they have the inner experience that you and I would call red. Naturally, they say, that's red. Simple. But now look at person B. Here's the twist. When they see that exact same tomato, their inner subjective experience is what person A would call green. But, and this is crucial, person B has grown up their entire life learning to associate that greenish experience with the word red. So when they see the tomato, they also, without hesitation, say, that's red. You see the problem? From the outside, looking in, person A and person B are functionally identical. Same input, the tomato. Same output, the words, that's red. Yet their inner worlds, their qualia, are totally different. So the argument goes, if this scenario is even logically possible, if you can just conceive of it without it being a flat-out contradiction, then functionalism has to be missing something. It's missing the whole what it's like part of consciousness. But don't think it's case closed. Enter neurophilosopher Patricia Churchland. She says the entire power of this thought experiment, the whole thing, rests on this one single claim, that two brains could be functionally identical while producing different experiences. Her whole goal is to show us why that's probably not just unlikely, but maybe even impossible. So her core attack is that the people in this scenario are not, in fact, functionally identical at all. She says the thought experiment is way too simple. It completely ignores the incredibly complex web of relationships that actually defines how we see color. Okay, so here's her first big counterpunch. Think about it. Colors don't exist in a vacuum, right? Red feels really close to orange, but very different from blue, and green feels closer to blue than it does to red. Now, if your red experience was actually my green experience, we'd start to disagree about these things. You would say that the color of a tomato is very similar to the color of grass. I'd say, no way. That's a clear functional difference. We could test it. Okay, but the defenders of the thought experiment have a pretty clever comeback. They say, all right, what if it's not just a simple red-green swap? What if the entire color wheel is rotated? You know, maybe your red is my green, your orange is my blue, and so on, all the way around. In that case, maybe all the similarity relationships would stay the same. It's a smart reply, but Churchland has another even more powerful objection waiting. And this one isn't just about philosophy. It's about hard biology. It's a fact about human vision that our eyes are not equally good at seeing all colors. We are much, much better at telling apart subtle shades of green and yellow than we are at telling apart subtle shades of blue. If your entire color spectrum was inverted, your green experience would be happening in the part of my spectrum where I see blue. That means you'd be really good at discriminating between shades of blue, and I'd be really good at discriminating between shades of green and yellow. Our abilities would be different. We'd no longer be functionally identical. We could literally design a test that you would fail and I would pass, or vice versa. The perfect undetectable inversion seems to be biologically impossible.